Ladies and gentlemen, after tonight's episode of NXT, I have one question for you. What do Adam Cole, Bebe, and AEW have in common? Think about it. Think hard. They're both fucked. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal, Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and indeed, this is your NXT review for October 2nd, 2019. It is here. It has arrived. The Wednesday Night War is in full effect. First full episode of NXT on USA Network. AEW Dynamite did eventually land in Canada on TSN. Gonna watch that a little later on. You guys know I'm premiering this video on Thursday, but I'm recording this moments after I've turned my television off from NXT. Now, before I become the NXT fan asshole of the Wednesday Night War, I do want to say shout out to everybody on Twitter that reached out and actually helped me out a little bit, because I did throw it out there. Lots of people saw me rant and raving about how AEW didn't have a TV deal here in Canada, and eventually it was Michael Hamflett of What Culture Wrestling fame that tweeted me an article from Post Wrestling saying that TSN here in Canada had picked it up. Now, here's the thing, here's the problem. TSN didn't say anything about it, AEW didn't say anything about it, and the TV Guide didn't even say anything about it. So I put it out there. I was kicking up a little bit more fuss, as I do, because TSN, at the end of the day, has 5 channels. TSN 1, TSN 2, TSN 3, TSN 4, TSN 5. And literally, everybody that saw that, everybody that saw me kicking up a fuss, as I do, people I don't even know were like forwarding me little bits of news, tidbits, rumors, until eventually it was announced that, at least for tonight, it's on TSN 2. Now it's, I think 3 or 4 weeks from now, it's bumping to TSN 3 because there's another event and whatever. But for everybody from, as I say, Michael Hamflett of What Culture, you guys know I'm a huge fan of What Culture, but also everybody else that followed suit with him, just tossing me every little tidbit of information that they heard. We do have it. AEW has 1 point over WWE/NXT in the Wednesday Night War, in the fact that they got me their show on the night. Not that I've watched it yet, you know, TiVo is a thing. But WWE, NXT, etc. are crazy if they think I'm going to wait 2 days to watch a show that's 2 days old and see a condensed half version that's only an hour long. Now, I can watch it on the WWE Network, uncut, the next night, right. I don't want to do that either, because I want to watch it while it's happening. So, once again, shout out to WatchWrestling24.ca and BollyRules.net. I've told you guys about those websites before. Those are the ones that I used to watch NXT, so that I can do this now, so that you guys can watch this video tomorrow, which is today as you're watching it. We're doing a little bit of a time travel thing. But, yeah, it's funny. I just wanted to mention, I wanted to re-bring it up, because so often we hear all the negative aspects of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., the social media thing. And yeah, a lot of people were like, oh, you're just an impatient asshole. And it was like, well, literally, as I was tweeting this last night, it was the matter of, yeah, well, their show's tomorrow. They should be able to tell me what channel they're on. But as I say, starting with Hamflett and all the way down, if you were one of those people on Twitter that helped me get the information I needed to be able to watch AEW later tonight, I do genuinely want to send out a thank you, because the nicer side of Twitter doesn't come my way very often, and it is nice to see sometimes. We had a great video opening. Apparently there was a pre-show for this first ever full episode of NXT on the USA Network. I'm very excited about tonight's show. If you can't tell, I'm just sort of I'm wound up a little bit, and it's good. It's really, really good. It is a bummer. Like, we get into the Wednesday Night War thing, the Monday Night War thing back in the day. It is a genuine bummer that you have to choose between the shows. I mean, it's always a cool little thing to get online. Oh, whose side are you on? What show are you watching? When really, all that is a what show are you watching first? Because whatever you're watching, unless you're a diehard AEW fan or a diehard WWE fan, you are watching both. It's just a matter of which one you're watching live, which is why I can't go on Twitter right now. But apparently there was a pre-show, Triple H and a bunch of other people outside of Full Sail, out in the crowd, which I caught the last 2 minutes of, which was basically Triple H hyping up the crowd, tell them who we are NXT, you know, we're not the pop station on the radio, we're the hard rock that's going to kick your ass, you know, typical repetitive, but yet no less true rhetoric from Triple H. So, you know, NXT is his baby, I'll let him have his rhetoric. We have a great video open to start. I think it was narrated or voiced over by Corey Taylor of Slipknot, which is fine because that's the music that's playing in the background anyway. Nice little touch. And the first shot of the night, of the Monday Night War, sorry, the Wednesday Night War, so to speak, is the fact that the NXT Championship between Matt Riddle and Adam Cole was the first match of the night. Now, we were playing up to the hilt the fact that Adam Cole had a fracture in his wrist from the attack last week from Matt Riddle, which wasn't really an attack. It was a, hey, I just had my match with Killian Dane. How about you get your belt out of my face until I take it next week? I'm going to put you in the armbar. It's fine. They do the spotlight intro, which gives it a pay-per-view feel, makes it feel important to... there's a lot of conversation going around online, a lot of people in the YWC, people that are watching NXT for the first time, you know, people on USA that have never seen this before, what are they going to think of it? Little things like that, the spotlight entrance, the lights go out, the spotlight entrance, the ring announcer in the ring, it does make a difference and it does make it feel special. Front suplex by Riddle 3 times to start the match, wrist lock early on, saying, you know what, we're going to target that wrist right off the bat. He does have it wrapped up. You don't notice until about halfway through, or I don't think they said it on commentary, that it is actually a cast. I'm still getting used to the fact that because I'm watching it on a stream, I can't pause it. I can't go back and listen to something that I missed because the live stream is live. It's not like watching TV. So there are things that I miss. Collar and elbow tie, a mud hole stomp by Cole, a gut wrench suplex by Riddle ×3, and then from Matt Riddle, for the first time live on USA Network on NXT, we got, say it loud, say it proud, the Daniel Bryan silly kicks with no shoes on from Matt Riddle, which is good. Roundhouse kick by Cole. Riddle eats the steps on the outside. Mudhole stomp by Cole. Back elbow. Twisting neckbreaker off the top. No, twisting neckbreaker off the top was an entirely different match. Knees to the back by Cole. Figure 4 headlock by Cole. Bicycle kick by Cole. Forearms and a Pele by Riddle. Exploder suplex by Riddle. Senton high knee and a brainbuster, all in quick succession like Riddle does, which is really, really good. Bridging German suplex by Riddle, and he goes into something else. He goes into the fireman's carry. Adam Cole manages to counter whatever the fireman's carry thing is into a backstabber. It was a nice shot. It wasn't 100%, but it was a really, really good transition. And the fact that it was a little messy actually worked in this case because it did come off like a little bit of a desperation move, which was good. Both men trade shots in the middle of the ring. Both men trade kicks in the middle of the ring. German suplex by Riddle. Ushi-Garoshi. I just loved the name of that move. I hope we don't ever turn it into anything. Remember when it was the tiebreaker? Remember that guy? Ushi-Garoshi by Cole and followed by a bicycle kick. High knee by Riddle and a Panama. I can speak, I swear. I'm just excited. Panama Sunrise by Cole. GTS Powerbomb knee strike floating bro near fall by Matt Riddle. Super kick backstabber Panama Sunrise by Cole. Fujiwara armbar by Riddle. Cast shot by Cole, because at this point in the match you were so into the action you could almost forgive yourself for forgetting that the cast was there. Quick shot with the cast by Cole. Last shot by Cole. Cole wins. Matt Riddle falls into the background because as soon as this match is over, I'm sorry, I like Matt Riddle, I really do. I think he's cool. I think he's going to be a great champion at some point. But as soon as this match was over, Matt Riddle didn't matter anymore because you heard music and you knew it. And you knew it wasn't Adam Cole's music, obviously. And it just, because it was so out of place and because the context just wasn't right, it didn't clue into you at first whose it was. And then it did. Pan to the stage, and everybody's been saying, oh, you know, maybe Gargano is going to come try and get his title back. Maybe Killian Dane is going to come down and say, oh, well, I could have gotten the job done. Nah. Who is it? We've had rumors. Everybody's going to move from brand to brand to brand to brand. Finn fucking Balor comes down and eyes up Adam Cole. They do a couple walk arounds. The stare down. The crowd at Full Sail, loyal as they are, is going fucking crazy. They got the whole spotlight and everybody doing the arm wave thing. The crowd is electric, and it's very, very simple. Finn Balor grabs the microphone and says, as of now, Finn Balor is NXT. And about 10 seconds later, if you follow him on social media, he put up a graphic. And it's a black and yellow t-shirt that says FinXT, FINNXT, and on the front of it, it's just his silhouette and the quote, "Yes, this is real." I said that this match, putting this match on first, was the first shot against AEW in the Wednesday Night War. Nah, that moment right there was the actual first shot in the Wednesday Night War. On this show, I haven't watched the other show yet. I'm not casting dispersions. We're talking about NXT, so we're talking about the shots that NXT has taken, and that was a hell of a shot. We're talking about returns. We're talking about people that are going to go back and forth and whatever. People coming back to NXT, you gotta be careful with. It has to be somebody that the NXT crowd is longing for. That's why Tyler Breeze worked. That's why Breezango worked. That's why, to a lesser extent, Apollo Crews works. That's why somebody like Sami Zayn would work. The rumors of Kevin Owens have everybody all excited, and kind of maybe we want Shane to win on Friday so that Kevin Owens can come to SmackDown, or to NXT rather. But Balor, because nobody was thinking Balor. Everybody was thinking Owens as far as somebody showing up tonight. Everybody was thinking if it was anybody, it would be Owens. Balor, we know what Balor's doing. He's going away for a little while. He's going to go shag his new wife. He's going to come back. He's going to be in the club, or he's going to come back, and the Demon is going to face the Fiend. Of course, that's what we're smart fans. We know that that's what he's going to do. Nobody, and if you told me you would have predicted this, you're a liar. Look me in the eye and I will tell you you're a fucking liar if you predicted this. Nobody predicted that this show would start off with a title match and then Adam Cole, still the champion, staring down Finn Balor. If you tell me that, you're a liar. In the back, we see a clip from a house show. This is a cool thing that they've done with Shayna Baszler. Occasionally, when she's scouting her opponent, they sort of have a camera with her, sort of lurking in the gorilla position, or lurking from one of the nosebleed seats, or lurking from the production area, or whatever. And she's just not cutting a promo per se, but she's sort of just like, it's just like she's talking to the cameraman. She's not talking to the camera. She's just talking to the person next to her, and she's just eyeing up Candice LaRae, and then it blends from that into a video package of both of them telling them what they're going to do to each other later on in the night. But it's really good, that behind the scenes sort of almost voyeuristic way that she sort of stalks her opponents without really stalking them. It's a good little touch, and it wasn't her with the horsewomen talking bullshit. It was just, it's a nice touch, and I can't think of anybody else that they've done it with other than her, so it's good. We have Dream coming out on the couch with his ladies. He talks a whole lot about the Velveteen Dream experience, which we know. I'm surprised that he has a couch, because Roderick Strong burned his couch, which definitely wasn't his couch and definitely was an NXT prop. But that's okay. We overlook it because it's NXT. He shits on Roderick Strong. He shits on the Undisputed Era. He issues a challenge for the North American Championship. Once again, he offers him, take one more shot to stand in my spotlight and show you're a man, and rah-rah-rah-rah. In the past 2 weeks, I don't even remember if he's had a match, but he's one of those characters you can introduce as a character first and a wrestler second to this mainstream audience. So I don't mind it for now, but you did sort of sell tonight as a night of champions, and one title that was not defended tonight was the North American Championship, with the prominent featuring of Walter in the past 2 weeks. It's surprising that his title wasn't involved in anything tonight. And another title that wasn't involved tonight, but is going to be involved next week, is the Cruiserweight Championship, because we then got the announcement that Drew Gulak is going to defend his title against Lio Rush, who won the #1 contendership on the first episode of USA NXT. That match is happening next week, and that's going to be really good. And Lio Rush, I like Drew Gulak, and I've said a million, when 205 Live was still a thing, I didn't like him on 205 Live. I did like when he stopped into NXT. Now that comment sort of loses its footing now that all the cruiserweights are on NXT, but I still say the same thing. He's a wrestler. Lio Rush is a spectacle and a character, and somebody that you could put on a pay-per-view and not have the match end up on the kickoff show. If that's him. He's the good wrestler version of what Enzo Amore was, and people are going to hate me saying that, but it's true. When he was the Cruiserweight champion, the championship was on the main card. pretty much anybody else, regardless of the fact that they were amazing wrestlers, ended up on the kickoff, to the point where it became a trope, it became a cliche of a WWE pay-per-view that the Cruiserweight match would be relegated to the kickoff, and that was the reason to watch the kickoff, which is great marketing by them, but it's shitty in the sense that you push a title match off the card. Now, I'm still hoping that that entire argument is moot, because I'm still hoping that the Cruiserweight Championship is going to be, because it's part of NXT now, I'm hoping that the Cruiserweight Championship is going to be defended at takeovers, not WWE pay-per-views, but that's just a little hint on my part. But if you keep the Cruiserweight Championship on regular pay-per-views, use it as an advertising tool on that main pay-per-view stage to advertise NXT, get more people to watch on USA. There's a lot you could do with putting the Cruiserweights on NXT, and none of it is bad, is it? Want to get my attention some more? NXT on USA, you want my attention more. I know I've got a women's title match coming up later, but for right now, whet my appetite with something like Io Shirai versus Mia Yim. Now, the first match of the night went for almost a half hour and did not have any commercial breaks. They did the limited interruption, right. For the rest of the show, there was never a commercial interruption. They just went to a split screen. Now, I know you guys in the States watching on the USA Network had that for SmackDown for a brief time, if I'm not mistaken. If this is what you guys had all along, it's kind of cool. It is distracting to take the commentary away from wrestling and just watch sort of dead visual wrestling, and for me, taking notes, it's a little bit of a nightmare because my vision isn't the greatest. But we did this for the rest of the night. Split screen, like limited commercial interruption, literally translated into no commercial interruption unless what's being interrupted is the sound. Because there was not a single break in this show, which meant I couldn't go grab a drink, I couldn't go take a piss. That was probably more than you guys need to know. But Io Shirai versus Mia Yim. Let's talk about that. Shirai slaps away the handshake that Mia Yim offers to start the match. Arm drags by Yim, atomic drop by Yim, baseball slide, and they brawl outside. Chops by Yim, an apron 619 by Shirai. She doesn't 619 through the ropes. She sort of baseball slides along the ground and curves it into a modified 619, followed by a series of kicks. Hardiac arrest by Shirai, the old thing that Jeff Hardy did where he sprung up and then kicked him in the gut. I like that name, and I don't know what else it's called, so that's what we're going with for now. Choke on the ropes and a Beal by the hair. Mudhole stop by Shirai, a snapmare and a chinlock with a post in the back, kneecap deep in the lower back. Nice touch to that. They trade some forearm shots. Sorry, I keep losing my place. My writing is messier than usual, if you can believe that, because not only was I excited about the show, but there's also a lot, and like I say, I can't pause, so if I lose my place, and if I'm stammering, I'm stuttering, and I'm sort of shaking all over the place, I hope you guys know that it's just because I'm excited. This is a lot of fun. I started losing steam towards the end of the show, but that is not a reflection of the show itself. We'll get there when we get there. Reverse Bulldog by Shirai, flapjack and a moonsault into the knees. Overhead throw by Yim. Both women trade some more stiff shots. Rolling clotheslines by Yim, drop kick and some stiff kicks to the midsection. Rolling head scissor by Shirai, a trip, a proper 619 and a springboard dropkick. Code Blue by Mia Yim, suicide dive and back into an armbar in the ring. Jawbreaker by Yim, suplex by Shirai, moonsault by Shirai. Io Shirai gets the win. Please give me this match again. Please give me this match again on a takeover. Please put either one of these women back in the title picture. This was fucking phenomenal. We pan to Hall and Nash in the crowd. The commentators speculate, oh, I wonder what Hall and Nash think of the Undisputed Era. It's all good. We see a video package on Tegan Knox and the fact that she's returning soon. Now, this is interesting because if you guys have been watching me for the past couple of weeks, I know Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai are or were a tag team. At some point, they did the team kick thing. Now, Tegan Knox made her return in NXT UK. Dakota Kai made her return here. Now Tegan Knox is making her return here. Two returns? Yay, I guess. In all seriousness, it was a really good video package. It is always going to break my heart, that footage from the Mae Young Classic where she fucked up her knee again. Go back to when I was reviewing the Mae Young Classic. I didn't know what to say about that at first. I mean, Rhea Ripley was her opponent, and Rhea Ripley healed it up like crazy, so credit to her. But Jesus Christ, it's sad, and you see her, more and more they show her, I don't know how I feel about how when they show video footage of them in surgery and of all the shit being opened up and moved around or whatever. Now, do the show the rehab videos, show her like icing her knee, or you know, when she's had a bad day in rehab, whatever. I don't think we need to see the shots in surgery, but I won't doubt, or I won't deny rather, that it is graphically effective. Next we get a kind of weird one, because we haven't seen Johnny Gargano on this USA version of NXT yet. Now, he's the heart and soul of NXT. Sorry, my chair's doing a thing. Don't mind me. And they have him in sort of an exhibition match against Shane Thorne. And that's nothing against Shane Thorne. When the Mighty broke up, and Shane Thorne was going to be a singles guy. Holy Christ, I can't talk tonight. Nick Miller retired, went home to do the family thing in Australia. Good for him. Shane Thorne, I've said it a million times, I think they missed the boat just not calling him the Mighty Shane Thorne. But this is a weird if Gargano is still seen as one of their top guys, sort of like the uncrowned champion of the babyfaces on NXT, this was a weird exhibition match to expose him to new people. But Thorne works I mean, you do get the David and Goliath aspect of it, because Thorne's like head and shoulders taller than Gargano, isn't he? Thorne works the arm, Gargano reverses, snapmare by Thorne, front facelock by Gargano, roll through crucifix, and Gargano escapes, roll through into a crucifix pin that doesn't work, but Gargano rolls that into the Gargano escape, but Thorne escapes the Gargano escape. That's why I can't talk, because words are hard. Corner beatdown by Thorne, hard Irish whip, choke against the ring post by Thorne before pulling him outside to brawl. Side suplex on the apron by Thorne, corner spears, snap suplex by Thorne. Both men trade some punches. There's a neck vice by Thorne, lariat by Gargano, rolling kick by Gargano, suicide dive, and a slingshot spear. I will say it, I know it's not new anymore. I still love the slingshot spear. Cannonball by Thorne. I will say, and yeah, we talk about it a lot with people like Kevin Owens, but somebody the height and build of a Shane Thorne pulling off the cannonball to somebody so significantly smaller as Gargano is sort of terrifying. I'm not going to lie. They trade some forearms. There's a lariat by Gargano. He hits a poison Rana, to which Mauro Ranallo sort of speculates on commentary that it's a shout out to his wife who has a match later on. Thought that was a nice touch. Finishes him off with a super kick. I would have loved to see him either finish him off with another slingshot spear or with the Gargano escape, but a super kick will do it. A super kick will do it. It's fine. Just now I'm nitpicking for the sake of nitpicking, because this show was fucking great. And speaking of Gargano, let's talk about Mrs. Gargano. Shayna Baszler versus Candice LaRae for the NXT Women's Championship. Baszler paintbrushes LaRae to start the match, sort of knocks her over, just started smacking her up back there. They did the light thing. Again, I don't think I need to mention that, but I mean, NXT just knows how to present the championship aspect, don't they? Dropkick by LaRae, a crossbody to the outside, corner splash, a snapmare, and a blockbuster by LaRae. Jawbreaker, senton by LaRae, and then she works the arm for a little bit. It's what you do. Bigger, stronger, taller person, break down one of the limbs. Body shots by LaRae leading into an octopus stretch, and she hits her with some knees while she's in the octopus stretch. She's sort of flailing in midair, even though she's the one in control. Boot by LaRae. LaRae eats the steps on the outside. Baszler puts LaRae's hand over her shoulder like this into the handle of the steps and then boots her arm. It's LaRae sold it great. The babyface heel dynamic in this was great, but Baszler selling the killer instinct of that particular maneuver, Candice LaRae selling like a couple seconds of fear and then the agony afterwards. It was just perfect. Corner knee strike by Baszler, back to the key lock again, working on the same arm that she just fucked up in the steps. Candice LaRae manages to hit a modified mic check on the apron and then hit her with 3 suicide dives. Now, how you do 3 suicide dives with what in real life would be a broken arm, I just don't know. Adrenaline is a thing. Second rope gut-wrench suplex by Baszler, followed by a couple of knee strikes. Step-up knee strike by Baszler and a German by LaRae. Karafuda clutch by Candice LaRae. Literally had me sitting right here howling at my TV. It was really, really good. Where'd I go? I lost my place again. Corner hangman by Baszler, top rope neckbreaker by LaRae, and a Kirifuda clutch by Baszler. A couple fight outs by LaRae, but ultimately she does submit to that. So 2 champions have retained so far. Gargano wins, his wife doesn't. This is the story we're telling so far. After that women's match, there's way more to that women's match than what I was able to write down, unfortunately. But we do pan And this is the one time I don't mind Stephanie McMahon if she's just there being supportive and not putting herself in focus. But they pan to the side, and you got Stephanie McMahon, Mark Henry, and Alundra Blaze in the crowd. And nothing happened. They just sort of waved and clapped and, you know, good job, and didn't make much of it. And if we could get more Stephanie McMahon like that, I almost wouldn't mind. Kushida versus Walter is happening next week. For reasons. Yay! They did do a big video package of what happened 2 weeks ago, and then the 3-on-3 last week and the beatdown by Walter after the match. But these are things you guys already know, or you probably wouldn't be watching this video. But Kushida, Walter, next week. I know it would sort of telegraph the finish, but like just make it for the title. The 2 titles that weren't defended this week, defend them next week. I mean, Lio Rush might win, so Walter going in there and clobbering somebody and it being ultimately irrelevant whether his title was on the line or not. Put the title on the line, give the match a little bit of a boost. I know that people that knew who Kushida was before NXT talk a lot about Kushida, but I don't think he's starting. This might be a shitty thing to say because I really like him. I like the Marty McFly gimmick and the whole thing, and I think him playing David to Walter's Goliath is going to work really, really well. But I don't think he's starting a whole lot of conversation amongst people who didn't already know who he was, if that makes sense. So put a little bit of an oomph behind it. I mean, we know they're not going to put the European title on Kushida, but he could go in there and get the shit kicked out of him, and it could be good. Randomly, and this is a match that I loved a couple months ago on NXT UK, we got Pete Dunne versus Danny Burch. Again, for reasons, but it's good. You guys know the British strong style, you know, the joint manipulation, the deep physical grapple wrestling that we got on NXT UK. I really like it. It's one of the main reasons I like Pete Dunne, the whole finger thing. It's all good. So seeing these guys, I guess, promoted to NXT proper and regular mainstream USA Network TV is got to be a good thing. Collar and elbow tie, but both men work each other's arms and wrists. It's sort of like it's Pete Dunne's thing, so he's going to try it, but everybody else is going to do it as well to fuck with him because he's the asshole babyface. Like, he's not a heel. He just does, he's the violent version of Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero when he would do the lie, cheat, steal thing. And those are not babyface things, but everybody loved him, which made him a babyface. Pete Dunne is super violent and super, like he'll take your body apart. I think it was Mauro Ranallo on commentary that actually said this about Shayna Baszler, but it applies to Pete Dunne as well. He rhymed off all the different bones in the human body and how many there are, and, you know, Baszler knows how to break every single one of them. Why didn't he save that comment for Pete Dunne? Because that's what Pete Dunne does with the breaking of the fingers and such. Danny Burch is a really, really cool guy to watch. I like his tag team with Oney Lorcan. I don't know quite where he's going, and I hate that because it makes him like the NXT version of Cesaro, because he's just really good and he could go in there and he could fuck people up and he could be the guy that makes everybody else look great, but I hope he gets something as well. I hope that makes sense. I'm already rambling on for a long time. Sorry, there's a ticker on my camera and it just tells me how long I've been talking already, and I've been talking for a long time. Adrenaline is a hell of a thing. Collar and elbow tie, and both men work each other's arms and wrists. Knuckle lock, flying armbar by Dunne, crossface by Burch. Clothesline by Dunne, X-Plex on the apron, Baszler stomp on the arm, the whole stand it up and stomp on the joint, on the steps by Dunne, and then he does it again in the ring. Step up enziguri by Burch, uppercut, corner, body shots, chop battle in the center of the ring between two British wrestlers is the dirtiest thing you will see in wrestling. Corner enziguri by Dunne and a running Batista bomb. Headbutt, powerbomb, knee strike, elevated DDT by Burch, but Dunne snaps the fingers, leads it into the bitter end. I'm not going to lie, I don't know what happened at the end, because the bitter end was sort of not the greatest bitter end we've ever seen, but Pete Dunne gets the win. And I'm sorry, it's one of these matches, one of several matches on this show tonight, that the ending was never in any doubt, because Danny Burch will make you look great, but that's his job. Pete Dunne's going to go in there and be a fucking rock star. That's his job. I mean, it's the Lio Rush, Drew Gulak comparison that I made a second ago. But, much like Adam Cole earlier in the night is not over for Pete Dunne. Lights go out, or lights kind of go out. And for reasons, he gets attacked by Damian Priest. And gets hit by Damian Priest. I'm going to sneeze. There we go. He gets attacked by Damian Priest. He gets hit by Damian Priest's finisher for reasons. He does the whole Archer thing in the center of the ring, lights up the entire Tron, and that's the end of that. So if we're going to get Damian Priest versus Pete Dunne, that is intriguing. It's sort of like the Adam Cole-Finn Balor thing, where it's like, I wouldn't have put those two names necessarily together. I definitely wouldn't have predicted Damian Priest being one of the people to step up to Pete Dunne, or I wouldn't have expected Pete Dunne to be the person that Damian Priest steps up to. There's both sides of that coin, but I'm very, very intrigued by that match now. Our main event is Street Profits versus the Undisputed Era, and somebody shared it on Twitter before we even came on TV tonight, that the time slot listed on their TV guide was 8 p.m. to 10:15 p.m. So then you knew something was going to happen. And then halfway through this match, Mauro Ranallo announces, oh, I've just been notified this match is going to go until we have a winner. Well, of course it is. I don't remember what the pay-per-view was, but do you remember whatever that pay-per-view was for WCW, where they didn't tell the pay-per-view company the right time slot, and the pay-per-view cut off right before the main event? I think the main event was like DDP versus Goldberg, and they had to show that match in its entirety as the first match, as an opening segment for Nitro the next night. So they're never gonna do that. I mean, they had the one match a couple years ago where Kofi Kingston won a match during a commercial break, but they're not gonna go off the air with a title match going on. Come on now. Dawkins and O'Reilly start the match. There's a lot of chain wrestling in the early going. We talk about people's various MMA, pro wrestling, military backgrounds and how they all mesh together, whatever. Tackle by Dawkins, a double team by the Street Profits, a knee by Ford. Fish and Ford trade some strikes and kicks and etc. Side headlock by O'Reilly, a tackle by Dawkins, an armbar by Ford, a double team by the Street Profits, a drop kick by Ford. Body shots in the corner by Fish. Ford and O'Reilly exchange some punches, which I can't read because my writing is terrible. Quick flurry of all kinds of shit from O'Reilly. The punches, the kicks, the chops, the forearms, the knees, all of it. Just where the other guy just sort of stands there and he can't even fall because the impact of what's happening to him is still happening to him. Rock bottom by Ford, rolling butterfly suplexes by O'Reilly as well are fucking ridiculous, because it's almost like he's picking you up for the next slam before you've even hit the mat from the first one. It's a very cool thing to say. It's a little bit acrobatic-y. It's the ground wrestlers version of a spot fest. Like where people accuse, and I'm gonna use them as the example, people accuse the Young Bucks of doing all the high-flying stuff as a spot. This is a technical wrestler's version of a spot, in my opinion. That doesn't make it bad, but it's definitely a thing. High knees in the corner by O'Reilly, abdominal stretch by Fish. Clotheslines for everybody by Dawkins off the hot tag. Corner splash, Dawkins spears O'Reilly into Fish. It's a nice spot and rocks him with an exploder suplex. Dragon screw by Fish works on the leg. And then we have this cool thing where Dawkins is face down in the ring and Fish comes off the top rope and drops a knee on the soft back of Dawkins' already injured knee and then locks him in a knee bar. I'm just like, that is so... I'm sure there's a name for it. I'm sure it's far from the first time it's happened ever. But it's the whole, like, you know what your knee feels like. You know what the front of your knee feels like. I just knocked on my kneecap because I'm an idiot. But it's that hard. It's the part you hit with. You don't hit with the back of your knee because all the soft, like, muscly, tendony stuff is on the back. So somebody else dropping their kneecap on the back of your knee would fucking wreck you. I wouldn't be in a match. I wouldn't be thinking about doing anything other than finding lots and lots of drugs if somebody did that to me. I'm not going to lie. I lost my place once again. Insiguri by Dawkins, God knows how. Frog splash by Ford, followed by a suicide dive. But Strong runs in from the outside, right down there, peels down the ramp, goes in. I don't think he hit anybody because there was no disqualification, but Dawkins gets distracted, getting him out of the ring. Fish and O'Reilly hit the high-low on Ford. They retain their titles. The three of them, O'Reilly, Strong, Fish, all posing in the ring. They're all celebratory. The commentators are telling us how devious and rascally they are and all that sort of thing. And they wait a minute, and then Adam Cole comes out with his belt. He holds his belt up from the stage, and then, you know, his buddies in the ring are holding up their three belts. You know, the prophecy is maintained, and rah-de-rah-de-rah. All the pomp and circumstance that you get from Mauro Ranallo that's far more energetic than what I am right now. But then, you don't even think about it. You're like, all right, well, the big surprise was at the beginning of the night, right? Okay, so we're going to have Adam Cole. Is Finn Balor's not going to come out and attack him because Finn Balor's the babyface. So we're going to get a nice clean finish where, oh my God, Undisputed Era, standing tall once again. How many NXTs are going to end like this? No. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah, TOMMASO Ciampa came out. And the look on, I will say, Adam Cole is a great shit-eating grin babyface when he's winning. But he's also, and they talked about it earlier in the show, and I didn't mention, they list extensively the fact that one of his primary inspirations, motivations, whatever, is Shawn Michaels. And you can just tell. I mean, I've been saying it for a while, half as a joke, half because it's true. But the minute he knows he's fucked, he has that look where it's like, oh, you know, top of the world, me and all my boys got all the gold, nobody can fuck with us. Oh, shit. And the stare down between Ciampa and Cole, and you just think he just got out of a brawl with Matt Riddle, who got that shot from kicking the shit out of Killian Dane. He got surprised by Finn Balor at the beginning of the night, and if that's not enough, he's also got Ciampa on his tail. If that stare down is not a way to end Raw, if this version of NXT, if this episode of NXT tonight did not dwarf, and I don't talk about ratings a lot because ratings are bullshit. I think they're only measured in the States anyways. Obvious reasons, we're getting fucked for NXT in Canada, and over in the UK they're having their own set of problems with AEW. But I would be surprised. I would be genuinely gut-wrenched and surprised if this week didn't get the viewers back that they lost last week. They did a pretty good number from what I've heard, from what I've read, etc. They did a pretty good number the first week, and it dipped just slightly the second week. If this episode didn't bring that back up, or if this episode doesn't bring it up for next week from people that heard about the episode and thought they should have watched it, I'm going to be really surprised. Because here you go. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that Matt Riddle is done chasing Adam Cole, because I don't think he is. Let's just say Killian Dane is going to go off and do something else because he didn't get his shot at the title, which I don't think is happening either. Now you add Finn Balor and TOMMASO Ciampa to the list of people hunting Adam Cole. Now, what does that mean? That means we get Balor versus Cole for the title, probably at a TakeOver. You get Ciampa versus Cole for the title, probably at a TakeOver. Or you get Ciampa versus Balor in a #1 contenders match. Where is the loss here? This show was fucking great. And next week we've got Gulak versus Rush, and we've got Walter versus Kushida. I don't know what happened on AEW tonight. I really don't. I avoided spoilers. I didn't look at Twitter. I'm going to watch it as soon as I turn this camera off. And I don't begrudge AEW any of the success that's coming their way. But if there is ever a dictionary, I've got a shirt somewhere, it came in the mail the other day, I don't know where it is, but if there was a way to personify that new NXT follow that motherfucker slogan, it was this show. I am very, very excited about wrestling right now. Can you tell? I really want to know what you guys think down in the box below. I really want to know what you guys think about me previewing these videos on Thursday now. Does it work? Does it not work? Is there a better time? It won't necessarily change what I'm doing, but input always helps. Again, to everybody on Twitter that helped me out with the TSN AEW news that I wasn't quite getting, really do appreciate it. One more shout out to Michael Hamflet from Wrestle Culture. If you're not watching Wrestle Culture, you should. That's it. I'm out. My heart is still doing this. My voice is almost gone. It's going to be a long time before I go to sleep tonight because I've still got AEW to watch. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.